Amy.
Oh, hi, Amy. I always love how much of a kick you get out of it.
What'd you watch yesterday?
Dude, I watched freaking Primal. Gendy Tartanovsky's Primal. Which is a long time coming. It came out in 2019, and I am only just getting to it now.
No time like the present.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Yeah, exactly. Better late than never. Mm-hmm. Especially with this freaking show. Oh my god.
Right after we reviewed Invincible.
Yes. Yeah. I felt on an animation kick, you know? And this was definitely...
a brutal animation kick.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, great show. I've already watched it, but I watched it again because it's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's such a simple story, but it's just, like, the story itself is really awesome. The way they convey everything through grunts, yells, body language, and it's all shown in the animations, in the eyes, and the way they do, like, their still frames with, like, changing colors and flashing, like, into, like, the black silhouette with the red eyes and stuff.
Yep.
Oh, dude.
There's just so much conveyed through just facial expressions and eyes in this entire show. Yeah, and, like, the lighting, the colors, everything is used... Music, everything is used incredibly well. And it sets that tone throughout the entire series.
Yeah. And the show focuses on two characters, Spear and Fang. Basically a caveman and a small T-Rex kind of thing.
Yeah.
They both bond through, loss. And survival.
It was so hard.
Oh, man.
Both times, so hard to watch.
It's pretty rough. Like, that first episode's pretty brutal.
It is.
Just in all the ways that, like, you see the family, and then you see the babies.
Yeah.
Like, definitely sets, like, a very dark tone right off the bat. And just the story of survival after that is so compelling. Like, it's so cool to watch, and just, like, watch these two characters become closer, where by the end of the series, or the season, like, they're perfectly in sync. Like, best friends. And it's just such a great story.
It really is.
A great show.
It really is. And, like, you can see them bonding them, like, farther and farther into the series you get. And it's just... It's both characters are great. I mean, there's nothing said.
Yeah. No words said between the two.
But,
except
like...
for grunts and yells and
But, like, that
roars.
goes to show you that you don't need dialogue to tell a good story.
Yeah. It's just told through their animation, through the faces of the characters and the eyes especially. And, it's a completely, universal kind of story that's easy to understand, but it's not really about what is happening so much as, like, what the characters are feeling.
Yeah.
And then what's happening is also super awesome, because it's usually super violent and awesome.
Exactly. Exactly, because, like, everything is super well done and super graphic.
Yeah.
And it's just so good.
Yeah.
So good.
So, if you haven't seen the show, that's basically you're just, like, drooling over awesome animation and just, like, effortless storytelling. And, it's just, it gets better and better as it goes along, too. So, if you haven't seen it, give it a shot. It's on the first season's on HBO Max, and so free to watch if you got that. Second season is newer, so it's still kind of behind a paywall.
It's paywall. Yeah, it's still circulating.
Yeah, but as soon as that stuff goes into more rerun territory, I'm sure HBO Max will probably pick it up. Right.
Probably they have a lot of Cartoon Network stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Gendy Tartakovsky, I love everything he does. Like Dexter's Lab, Powerpuff Girls, Samurai Jack.
Yeah.
Like he just done so many good animated shows that I just love. Like it's just wonderful. And then this is just another thing that he's done that's great.
Yeah. I mean, geez. He's done so much, too.
It really has.
Like, yeah, I always think of Samurai Jack first when I think of Gendy. Because that's just, like, the most iconic thing that I think I've seen from him.
Yeah.
But I think this kind of takes the place of that. Primal is, like, I think Samurai Jack is great, but it's more nostalgic than anything. Whereas Primal is just such an excellent story and, like, complete animation.
Yeah.
That, I don't know, it kind of takes the place of what I'll default to thinking of when I think of Gendy Tartakovsky.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Like, I love everything he does. He puts so much effort and so much heart and soul into everything he does. It's just wonderful.
Yeah.
And when he has a little bit more free range for stuff, it could just get that much better.
Yeah. And I mean, he blends a lot of elements into these. It's like a lot of fantasy and horror and action and, you know, it's pretty awesome. Just all the different emotions that they make you feel with literally no dialogue.
Yep.
I mean, there's, I think, a handful of lines spoken in languages that you can't understand, so that's, it's not really dialogue. You still don't understand it.
Yeah.
It's just, it conveys about as much information as all the grunts and roars and screams.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. Overall, I'd give the show a 10 out of 10. And I really loved this show.
Yeah.
I am super excited to watch season 2 and catch up on it. And as soon as we do, we'll do a follow-up video on that. But we're going to talk about the beer. Because we're already starting to ramble quite a bit before we've even gotten
into the
and then
favorite parts.
and then like we'll go through the episodes and talk about our favorite parts. And just why our favorite episodes are our favorite episodes. So, yeah. We got the Firestone's Mind Haze Double IPA. They've had the Mind Haze, hazy for a long time. And now they've made a double version of it. And it's pretty damn tasty. I really like this beer.
Yeah, I do too. It's very nice. It's very nice.
I kind of feel like hazies work best as doubles. At least for me.
Because it gets a little bit more, you get a little more strength behind them, and you get a little more flavor.
Yeah.
You get a little more of the hoppiness, but you still get a nice balance.
You get that nice kind of like fruity flavors still coming through. And,
but you get a little bit more hops with it too.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Which is what we're looking for.
Yeah, totally. It just kind of like gives it that extra punch of like real beer flavor that, a lot of hazies kind of cover up with all the fruitiness and, all the different things going on with them. So, yeah, I feel this is like one of the better ones that I've had in a while.
Definitely.
I mean, Modern Times comes out with some good ones here and there. Of which I can't even remember one off the top of my head. But their double hazies are usually pretty damn good. Yeah. Great freaking beer.
Great freaking beer, man. Yeah. It's nice. Got a fruity flavor to it. Got some Got some hop to it. It's nice. Plus, it's 8.3%. So I'm all over that.
It's in the good range.
I'm all over that. So you know me, man. I love me a strong beer.
Oh yeah, you and me both, man. Sounds are freaking yeah. I love the purple can too. We haven't really talked too much about can and artist stuff on the more recent ones.
The revision.
Yeah, but like, haven't really gotten too much into it. This is really simple, but I really like the purple.
Yeah, the color really draws you in. It's really nice.
It really helps convey that haze feeling too.
Yeah, that purple haze.
Yeah. Overall, I'd have to give this beer a 4.
Yeah,
solid 4. Like really good flavors. Not perfectly what I'm looking for, but definitely something that I will get more often than not.
Yeah, I'd get this one over the regular Mine Haze.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
and I like the regular Mine Haze too.
Yeah,
it's just with this being a double and pushing up those more beery flavors. Those malts and hops and like the yeasty flavors. Like adding the fruity flavors off of that is just way more palatable for me.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. So gonna do a little episode by episode kind of quick review of each one, just kind of what happens. So if you haven't seen Primal yet, this would be the spoilers.
Spoiler warning. Alright, so episode 1.
Episode 1, Spear and Fang. As the name implies, it's when Spear and Fang meet. Really, probably in terms of all of them, probably one of the more difficult episodes to watch. As it's just fucking tragic.
Serious.
I mean, first you see Spear's family being eaten by horned T-Rexes. And then, as he's trying to get revenge on T-Rexes, he runs into Fang and her little ones. And then get attacked by horned T-Rexes. And then the freaking Alpha swoops in and eats Fang's kids. And
they were so cute, too.
They were adorable.
They were like little puppies.
Like, just the way they were super friendly towards Spear after he had initially saved them. Like, it really, very quickly got you attached to these little dinosaurs. And that right away was like, oh no, they're gonna die.
Yeah.
That's how they get together. So that, starts them off on their journey towards, surviving and being together. Episode 2, River of Snakes. This is them really learning how to live together. Fang keeps stealing Spear's kills, and eventually Spear just gets super pissed off, and they fight. And then he loses his spear, and then they get swept up by a river that is filled with snakes. Well, they run into a den of snakes, and then the river becomes the river becomes filled with snakes. Definitely starting to get a little bit of the kind of horror genre elements in this one. And yeah, ultimately it led to a closer bonding of them and them being able to share kills and actually learn to survive together. It's just starting their bonds of friendship. Which, as brutal as the show is, their friendship growing is super adorable throughout the entirety of this. Like, I just have to say, you could totally make a review of just, like, all of the cute moments and just, like...
all the
and then all of the, like, yeah, brother kind of moments.
Yeah.
You know? It's just like, when they defeat, you know, stronger things together, working together, it's always so cool. Which happens in this, where Fang kills, like, the giant freaking anaconda thing.
Yeah.
Like the massive snake.
The Titanoboa.
Yeah, like, great freaking teamwork.
Oh, yeah.
So, that was a good episode, Tim. And just kind of starts building from there. Like, I feel like pretty much almost every episode just kind of one-ups the one before it. Episode 3 is A Cool Death. And this one we kind of see a herd of mammoths, and an elder one gets separated from the pack.
It's like old, sick, it's falling behind,
Yeah. Getting weaker, and obviously gonna be dead sooner than later. And then Spear and Fang attack, and after battling with it, and you can see how much of a fight an old, decrepit freaking mammoth puts up, and kind of foreshadows how screwed Spear and Fang are later in the episode. You know.
Although they did hold their own pretty decently.
They did. They did.
Like, they didn't, like, completely get destroyed. Like, they were still... I mean, they still got pretty wrecked, but, like...
Yeah.
They still held their own for the most part.
Yeah. But they were both on the verge of basically being destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
They were able to hold them off for a decent amount of time. Like, longer than anything else probably could have. But at the end, you got Fang in between the heads of two mammoths, and then Spear just, like, grabbing the tusk and waving it around. If he hadn't realized right then and there what they wanted, they would have just been crushed, and they would have taken the tusk. And,
yeah, they would have just taken it anyway, yeah.
Yeah. So, it was really cool to see, like, that there is, you know, something that they can't beat.
I think that was the most depressing episode, besides the first one.
It's up there.
Yeah.
It's up there. Like, it's...
Because, like, at the
it's
end,
the most
like...
depressing at this point.
Yeah, with the end, like, and they're all just kind of swaying back and forth around the tusk
graveyard.
Yeah. I was like, wow, this is depressing.
Yeah. I mean, definitely that beginning of the episode is super sad. The way the older mammoth falls behind and is calling out for the herd, but they can't hear him.
Because of the storm, yeah.
And, right into it being attacked. And then ultimately dying. But...
yeah, even Spear felt bad for...
oh, yeah.
For killing it.
It shows through the scene, like, when he looks into its eye, how, you know, he was teaching his son to hunt and everything. And, you kind of see that, like, even as the son, you know, helps kill the deer, that, like, looks into its eyes and kind of understands, you know, just, like, you know, that they weren't just killing it for fun. They needed, you know, the food.
Exactly.
That they understand what the life meant. That's kind of conveyed through that just whole little scene.
Oh, yeah.
And again, no dialogue.
No words. And
no dialogue.
But everything's like put out there, and, like, you understand it.
Yeah. But it's just, it conveys so many complex, like, discussions and emotions and stuff through just imagery and music and, you know, just movement itself, like the animation itself. Yeah, after that episode 4, man, we're taking the time.
Yeah, a little bit.
Terror Under the Blood Moon.
That was a good one, too.
Yeah. This one dipped a little bit more into, like, obscure kind of horror elements. With, like, the 8 men at the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, like, hiding under rocks and, like, peeking out at them. And then the one just, like, trudging along in the desert.
Yeah, with the boar or something like that.
Yeah, like, trying to push a kill back over. Mm-hmm. Knowing that these freaking weird-ass gigantic bat
creatures coming
after him. I mean, that episode starts with Fang and Spear being chased by, like, velociraptor.
Raptor things.
Herd.
Yeah.
And they kill a lot of them. Like, in some of the most elegant manners ever. Mm-hmm. That you would ever conceive of a dinosaur and a caveman killing things. It's, like, surprisingly elegant and beautiful.
Super efficient, too. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Everything was super efficient. Like, you could see that they're getting more and more, like in sync with each other.
Like, just battling together for survival.
It shows later when they fight the bats. Mm-hmm. When they fight the bat things, yes.
Well, when they fight the spider. So,
yeah.
First they're being chased. They evade the velociraptors. They encounter the 8 men. And then the bats attack. Mm-hmm. They, through a still valiant fight, manage to grab Spear and take them to their den. And then Fang follows along. And then after finding out that it's in a giant tower-esque hive, and Fang tries to climb up the little mountain, like near vertical thing.
Yeah,
gets like 15 feet up and then just shit.
Yep.
Eventually plays dead to be picked up and brought in. Yeah. And then we get this freaking giant spider part.
Yeah, which would have freaked out a bunch of our friends.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I've seen creepier animated spiders, so...
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Aragog from fucking Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Like, that thing's,
yeah.
Yeah, way creepier.
Yeah, creepy.
And that's just because it's literally a gigantic spider.
Yeah.
Looks mean.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Which it looked worse in the description wise in the book. It looked worse.
Oh yeah, I know.
It was much worse. But yeah, like you can see that their bonding is getting much stronger, and when they fight against the spider,
against the giant spider. Yeah. I love the way he freaking like finds the horn of the Triceratops and like, bashes it out and like impales the spider's head. Just dude, so good,
so good.
And then they have to escape from there, and then using the silk from the spider, like fashion like a little pseudo rope.
I like how Fag's just like,
what the hell are you doing? And then he kicks him out of the door. And he's like, "Oh fuck you, dude!"
And he like shoulder checks him out of the fucking tunnel.
Oh man, that's one of the best parts of comedy in this whole season.
Because like you can see Fang just like,
oh, man. Just like the sheer look of "fuck you" on her face was just so brilliant.
It's so good.
And then now we got the reverse of the beginning of the episode, where now it's the bat things chasing Fang's in the opposite direction.
Yep.
And it's kind of like it reminded me of Fury Road.
Yeah.
Where it's like they're running away. Well, now we're just going to
go back that way because
and all the problems that we had getting here are now going to be a problem for them as well. And then we'll just take their crap. And that's exactly what happened. Mm-hmm. They just led the velociraptor things into the bat things, and the bat things into the velociraptor things, and saved the 8 men, and killed the spider.
Yep.
And they're local legends.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Episode 5, Rage of the Ape Men.
Yeah.
This was a brutal episode too.
This was super brutal. This is the one where you're like, it's
almost uncomfortably violent.
It's like,
parts of it.
You thought? Well, I thought at first when I first saw it, I thought Fang wasn't going to make it.
It's only because I knew it was episode 5. I'm like, there's no way they're killing Fang.
I was like, dang, really? I was like, they're going to kill
the
dinosaur?
they can't kill Fang in episode 5.
They can't kill the dinosaur? I was like, this better be only one season.
Right. If they killed it in episode 5, that would have been way too... I would have been so pissed.
But
I would not have given this a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
But,
even though we only go to 5.
I gave it a 10.
That's how much you need.
Scale to 5.
That's how much you need to watch the show.
Absolutely. Watch the show.
But I mean, but yeah. So I mean, like,
yeah. I love that we look on it like our very first reaction to hearing the name of this episode was violent, almost uncomfortable, like just scary.
Yeah.
And the first 9 minutes of a 22-minute episode, so almost over a third of the episode's runtime, and it's spent in a little oasis. And it's the most mellow scene.
Oh, the funniest part is where Fang looks at sees the worm.
Sees a worm and then pictures a snake.
Hell no.
Hell no. I'm going up on this rock.
I'm going to go on this rock where it's solid.
Yeah. Ain't no worms getting me.
Ain't no snake getting me this time.
Yeah. Dude, that was funny.
That was really funny.
Just watching that whole thing, you're just like, oh wow, this is a really chill episode. Wait, when's the other shoe gonna drop? And then it does, and some ape men took Fang while Spear was underwater.
Yeah, like going up to Fang to scare her.
Yeah, yeah, which is even better. It's just it's like such a guy friend thing to do.
Oh, totally.
Just a guy friend thing, and then a guy and a girlfriend thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Guys only like to scare their best friends and girls.
Darn right.
And
yeah,
so you're expecting this really cute moment because they like to insert those every now and then, just like those little cute moments.
Yeah,
and then Fang's actually being taken off into the woods by ape men.
But you don't find that out until a little bit later.
A little bit later. But Spear gives chase.
Gets knocked out.
Gets knocked out, and then taken to the arena of the ape people.
Yeah.
Dude. So you got these baboon-looking creatures, and then this priest guy.
Yeah, the priest ape.
Yeah, priest ape. He's even got a robe and a staff.
Yeah, he's got a robe and a staff. Like, what is happening?
I mean, sometimes the imagery is very blatant.
Yes.
They're not trying to get you to think too much about what that particular ape's role is. They're trying to get you to think about what the overall situation is.
Exactly. They have to convey a lot in a very short amount of time. Yeah.
And without dialogue whatsoever.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of pretty obvious imagery. Yeah, and then we get 5 gorilla-looking creatures, which I feel like a lot of these are supposed to be conveyed as proto Homo sapien kind of people because they seem to possess near the same intelligence as Spear, and they're clearly based on actual animals without being exactly the animal.
Yeah, exactly.
So they look like gorillas, and the baboon-looking creatures behave in a very human-like manner, albeit the cultist fanatic style human behavior. But yeah, that's what they look like.
Yeah,
jumping baboons. Weird people.
Serious. But
Anyways,
like
tangent.
yes. But like yeah, so like yeah, then the one gorilla gets the drop of this like liquid.
Yeah, this curious black liquid, which basically just roids it out and makes it super angry.
Yeah, exactly.
It still has all the same motivations, and then
it's just more rage driven.
Yeah, it's very much more rage driven, and obviously the enhanced, physical stature.
Yeah, the imagery that it puts through, like even set forth with the eyes.
Yeah,
like,
and then Fang is forced to fight him, and that's a rough scene too.
Yeah, that was hard to watch.
Just annihilated.
Yeah,
was rough.
Yeah,
I mean, you really feel for this dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
She is one of the two main characters, and like this is the first time that the possibility of plot armor might feel like it's gonna crack.
Yeah, might not be there.
Yeah, but eventually Spear, through sheer force of anger and concern for his best friend, chews his way out of his binds and
literally chews his way.
Yeah. And then goes and attacks the priest monkey.
Yeah, throws him off the ledge
thing, which is awesome.
Yeah,
and then consumes the entire bowl of that black liquid that the gorilla only got a tiny drop of.
Mm-hmm.
Then he turns into a rage beast.
Yeah, pretty much
gorilla thing.
Yeah, like Rage Neanderthal.
Yeah, and just annihilates the other gorilla. Like, and then everything else, all of the other ape-men baboon creatures were just destroyed.
They were trying to run away, but it did not work.
Just smashing them into the ground.
Like
literally cleaving them in half with a chop.
Like he punched one in the face and tore off the bottom jaw.
Yeah. Super graphic, super intense.
Like he pushed one away and it just spins around. All his bones are broken when it stops spinning. Yeah. It's like, oh man, this thing is intense.
So, massacres all of the
everything.
Anything that got lucky enough to escape. Don't have anything to go back to, that's for sure. And then that pretty much is like end of the episode. Was the end of that rage thing. And then we get the episode Scent of Prey. And that follows Spear trying to nurse Fang back to health and creating like something to actually pull her on.
Yeah.
And keeping off scavengers.
Yeah.
In the ape pit, there were already vultures circling overhead, so we had to move the body so that the vultures wouldn't start eating Fang alive. And then friggin' hyena-looking creatures stalking them the whole time. And then they finally find a cave, block themselves in, and there's these freaking like man-eating bugs in there.
Yeah, the
with
beetles.
Like armored shells.
Yeah.
After going completely apeshit on those bugs, Spear kills all of them, making a mound of armored bug corpses. And when the hyenas start to break through, he freaking dons them his boxing gloves and just goes to town on these things.
Just wails on these hyenas.
Wailing on just sheer brutality and freaking just a complete utter lack of self-control towards murdering these freaking predators. It's so good.
It is.
It's so violent and it's so pretty. And then Fang finally wakes up and like gets up despite the legs still being all messed up, and goes and joins. And they trying to fend off all of these hyena-looking creatures and, save themselves yet again.
Yep.
Next we have your favorite episode.
Oh, I love this episode.
It's a Plague of Madness.
Plague of Madness. Love this episode. This is my favorite episode.
When I was watching episode 6, he was telling me, what episode are you on? 6? Oh, next one's my favorite one. And so, I almost forgot what Scent of Prey was about. Because I was so hyped on watching what the next episode was already. And it did not disappoint.
Oh, no, not at all.
It did not disappoint. This was one of their bigger pushes towards like a horror genre style episode. Mm-hmm. And, whew, man. You see these like rabies zombie dinosaur, kind of roaming around. The bigger dinosaurs just sound like, no, man, you're tripping me out right now. Like, stop, maybe. And then it bites its leg, so it kills it. And then he turns into his own rabies disease zombie creature.
Yeah, it's like one of the biggest dinosaurs too. Which, it's like that's like the coolest thing.
The Brontosaurus kind of style dinosaur.
Yeah.
Giant long neck, massive body, freaking sequoias for legs.
Yeah, exactly. It was just so cool. Like, you never would have thought. Cool. You never would have thought you would see, like, a gigantic plant eating, like...
an herbivore.
Exactly.
Vegetarian.
Exactly. Doing this. Literally
tramples its entire family's eggs. Starts murdering the crap out of every single other... one of its kind.
Just
one by one.
Stomping on one of them.
On them.
Like,
ripping out throats.
Like, hits the back of one and, like, the chest comes out.
Chest conclaves and just, like, juts out.
Exactly.
Oh, dude. So graphic and so violent.
Exactly.
It's like, it reminds you that it's not cuss words that you have to worry about.
Oh, no.
When you're kids. It's properly done imagery like that that really conveys like the fear and just the sheer brutality of what's going on.
Exactly.
Those are
plus
really hit on.
Plus it's like the entire episode is done in like such a perfect way to convey everything so dramatically.
Yeah. And every time you feel like this creature now is either dead or, can't move, it somehow comes back.
Yeah, exactly.
And it is just like, it's like terrifying for the main characters because they can't kill it.
They can't kill it.
They literally do not know how to kill it without becoming infected, and they know that, and you can tell they know that because they're running away.
Yeah.
From a fight that they would normally just stand
and just beat the crap out
of it.
Exactly.
They're just like, I don't know what the hell that is, and that scares the shit out of me. We're just running.
We're just going.
And, dude, the whole scene over the whole lava pit.
Yes!
Was so cool. They're
so
like,
cool.
It's so dangerous that they're like willing to turn back and take their chances with that freaking thing busting out, than trying to cross the rest of this potentially sizzling death.
Yeah.
And yet, there it goes, breaks through, ripping most of its flesh off of its back, and chases after them yet again. I mean, and the final death scene, when it actually finally succumbs to the lava. The lava. The thing that literally melts flesh. Watching that was like an oddly beautiful scene. Mm-hmm. And then they continue on their merry way again.
Yep.
Next episode, episode 8, was Coven of the Damned. I loved this episode. Like, it was almost my favorite. Like, over Plague of Madness too. It hit so many more emotional beats in this episode, which I always tend to gravitate to. I'm a sucker for like super emotional moments. But this episode definitely did a lot of that. In that we got to see a revisit to the past of both Fang and Spear losing their family, which already is just all like, oh, your heart, let me just twist that a little bit.
You don't need that.
You don't need that right now. And then looking into that witch's history of, the same ritual happening that happens at the beginning of the episode, to her getting her own daughter that she is supposed to raise as a witch, but she's like obviously super attached to and loves the child, and that falls off a cliff and dies.
Yeah.
And now she's just wrecked with an immeasurable guilt. And then after seeing that Fang and Spear had lost their children, came to sympathize with them. Yeah, just so many great emotional beats with this episode.
Yeah.
When the witch, the one that was initially controlling Fang.
Yeah.
When she sacrifices herself to save Spear and Fang. We get that last scene with her being reunited with her daughter.
Yeah.
Which is a great way to cap the episode off. I mean, just...
Yeah, like... they don't do it very often, but like the emotional draw that they do on a lot of these episodes, like the few episodes that they do it in, it just hits so hard.
Yeah, and I think that they use it sparingly too. Is also really well done.
Oh yeah.
So it really lets those emotional moments like hit a little bit harder because you don't get too many of them.
Yeah, true.
Like the previous couple episodes were just pure like action and horror.
Yeah.
With some, good friendship building.
Yeah, exactly.
This episode really just like struck that emotional chord and let it kind of ring out for the entirety of the episode.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was a really well done episode. I really loved it. It was almost my favorite episode until I saw the Night Feeder. Dude, this episode was so good. It takes all of my favorite elements of horror movies and very neatly ties it into this really dramatic, kind of like scary, just journey that we go on with these characters.
Yeah.
Dude, the way they set it up with saying like the saber-toothed cat attacking something, and the episode's called The Night Feeder, so they're kind of throwing like a little baby red herring for you to be all like, oh, is that the Night Feeder? I don't know. It's not, but who knows? And then Fang and Spear stumble across the area, and initially they're both like, wait, what's going on? And then Spear wants to investigate, and Fang's just like, nope, no, let's forget about this one. Let's go back. No. And Spear just keeps going. He sees the corpse of the mauled saber cat.
Yeah.
And dude, it's like it's a very drawn out scene of him discovering it, walking around it, examining like the parts of it. You know, seeing the rib cage and the torn flesh, and the eye that's laying separately from the skull. That one gets its own still frame, like close up.
Yep.
Like they really draw on the massacre that this kill was.
Yeah.
Because it was no ordinary, just like something, you know, grabbed its neck, tore its jugular out, or you know, ripped its throat out or something.
Yeah, no, something happened to this, and he's trying to figure out what the heck it is.
Yeah.
Because he's been around, he's seen stuff, so he knows a lot of, like, what can kill something else and what it looks like.
Yeah, and he's a fighter.
Yeah.
He loves to get himself involved in crazy shit like that.
Exactly.
Like you kind of see it with a lot of the fights that they do end up getting into. It's just all like, no, I'm the shit. Just like starts going at it with his spear.
Yep.
Spear using the spear.
Yeah.
Freaking, oh, man, Spear's badass.
He is.
But a very relatable character at that, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But yeah, the Night Feeder. Like, we're barely even into the episode. We're already tensioning off. Then the next night, we actually get to see a perspective from the Night Feeder, like weaving through mist and trees, and an image that they later use when Fang and Spear are running away from the Night Feeder. But we see it stalking this entire herd of like Triceratops looking things.
Dude, that was my favorite part of that episode. Like the POV part. It was just so cool looking.
That was my favorite part until the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we see the whole massacre. Well, we don't see the whole massacre, but we start seeing a massacre. And then it cuts to Fang and Spear at their camp and hearing all of this going on in the distance. And you're hearing just like terrified screams and roars and yelps of all these animals being just completely massacred. You can tell it's happening like just one after the other based on the sounds that are being made. Spear immediately wants to run in and go help, try to take this thing down.
Yeah.
And Fang's just very adamant that he does not do that.
Nope.
Like, this is not our fight. We will get super murdered.
we meet super death.
You were going to... Yeah, you're going to get fucked up if you go even anywhere near this thing. Well, it turns out it doesn't matter because it
finds them, yeah.
And we get such a cool, like, it's a chase, and then it's a hunt, and then we see that Spear figures out what the weakness is by waving his spear down and striking it. It creates a spark, and that makes the Night Feeder jump back. And so he starts doing it over and over again until he realizes that he can get a fire going and use that. And then they surround it, and it's animated from almost a point of view of the Night Feeder because it's running through the trees, and then you start seeing like sparks here, sparks here, and then this tree going up in flames, and this tree going up in flames, and then all of a sudden it's a circle of things just moving around you. But then the perspective shifts to, I feel like it's Spear, where it comes back around and you see the whole trail of flames, and it goes from pitch black to all these flames shooting up, and then you finally see the creature being ignited and being consumed by the flames, and it just flashes at first. And it looks like some weird, like, hybrid Velociraptor T-Rex, but, like, way more lanky and, like, longer claws and just crazy features.
Exactly.
It's oh man, it's such a good episode. I really loved that episode.
It was good. It was a very good one.
Yeah. I really kind of felt some of the anxiety too.
Oh yeah.
Of this thing, just like
looming. I mean, that's what like all these episodes do, is that it draws you in, and you like you feel everything, and you're like, oh, crap.
Yeah. But yeah, while the penultimate episode is my favorite episode, there's still one more episode to go.
Last one.
And Slave of the Scorpion is definitely the most interesting.
Yeah.
In terms of, like, there's real, like, story development happening in this episode. And the first bits of unintelligible dialogue, other than a name, are uttered. It centers around a bald female who's clearly some sort of captive, probably slave, as easily indicated by the name of the episode, Slave of the
Scorpion. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she's bald. She has a scorpion tattoo on the back of her head, but she's really tall and thin, lanky kind of character.
Yeah.
With shackles on and like a big wooden shackle around her neck. Encounters Fang and Spear, who, Spear takes an immediate, like, whoa, wait, no, you look the same. Like, wait, no, I need to help you.
Yeah.
And that's all it is, too, is, like, he just feels a need to help her out. And as he, approaches her and helps her out, he gets to learn, like, extra little things, Like, obviously the thing around her neck is hurting her. She can't sleep with it on. So they figure out a solution to get that, and the shackles off. And then there's, like, a nice scene of, like, her communicating with Spear in a way that he can actually kind of start to understand what's going on. And it's a mix of, drawings in the sand and a native language that is kind of Middle Eastern sounding, but I don't know if it's actually based on any real language or...
I'd have to listen to it again, but I think something like that. It
sounded somewhat Middle Eastern, but I don't know anything about Middle Eastern dialects to really... That's just what it sounded like to me. I have no authority on those kinds of dialects or accents, other than, like, the joke versions of, like, Borat and stuff, which do not count.
Oh, Lord. Not in the slightest.
Not in the slightest. But I know it's not a European accent. I know it's not a primarily Asian accent, like Eastern Asian. And it's definitely not an English accent.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd kind of base it in the Middle Eastern sort of area if I were to guess what it could be based on.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get the first bits of dialogue, and the first word that is said is Mira, which is her name, as she's trying to convey it to Spear. And he just gives her like the most deadpan look of just... It's just like, I'm still just trying to figure it out, but I can't show any sort of sign of emotion or confusion or anything right now. Just kind of have to hold a straight face.
Just gotta figure everything out as it happens.
Yeah. Which is a great moment. Like, I love those little moments of her just, like, trying to communicate through words and realizing that nothing is working. And then she uses her words plus the drawings to kind of show somewhat what she's been through and, that there's somebody that is bad. Like somebody in armor with horns on their head and holding a sword. It's like, okay, that's the bad guy. And Spear, that's what he focuses on. So, like, if I ever see this guy, I'm gonna rip his freaking head. immediately imprints on him.
Yep.
And then she gets taken by some ape men. Which, actually, I do like the moments where she's kind of like showing them new things like cooking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like actually making tools and stuff. Those are really like kind of like more on the cute moments, where it's kind of like character builds that they're getting used to each other, that they're liking each other in a familiar sort of sense. Just nice moments like that. And then she gets taken by 8 people.
Yeah.
And then Spear and Fang chase after them. And then they catch up to them, only to find that all the 8 people have been shot by arrows. And then they run to the beach and see a ship sailing off with a scorpion mast.
Yeah.
And then Spear says his first word. Mira. Saying her name. And that's where the season ends.
Yep.
Yeah, again, like, the fact that you can feel so much from zero dialogue and just like, pure expression and animation and action and just, like, moments of heroism.
Just, like, facial expression itself.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Yeah. Great show. Definitely watch it. It's
Absolutely.
wonderful. Like,
if you have HBO Max, you should watch it. If you don't, start your free trial so you can watch it.
It's also on Hulu, I think.
It is.
If you have the
behind the paywall.
If you have premium.
No. When I say a paywall, I mean like they want you to do Hulu TV, which is $64.99 a month.
Oh, that's dumb. Yeah, no, just get HBO Max for the free 7 days.
Yeah, get a week of HBO Max or a month. So I don't remember what they're doing because they constantly change it because they're releasing new movies, but then they're not releasing new movies, so they change back to the old way. But then they have a new movie, so they're all like, "Wait, no, you can't do that free trial yet."
Yeah, when doesn't like. They had a new movie coming out. Like
nothing that's coming out on Max.
I think it's August. I think Suicide Squad comes out in August.
Oh yeah.
I think it's August.
Yeah, that'll be the next Warner Bros. Movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll be the next big HBO Max release when you can't get HBO Max for a month.
Yep.
But anyways, I think that's about time to wrap it up.
Indeed.
So here's to you.
Here's to me.
Friends for life, we shall always be.
If perchance we disagree,
then screw you.
Here's to me. Cheers. Cheers.